Yo, send it before Super Bowl Sunday. Your boy Justin Henry, that dude over there, Prabhat Parmar.
Your
What's good,
boy
dog?
P, man. What's up? What's up, Jay? How you living, baby?
Oh, you already know. Niners headed to the Super Bowl. We got some unfinished business to take care of. You feel me? Since we was just talking off camera about how this ain't my team all of a sudden. Now all of a sudden, I ain't a Niner fan. But go ahead, Pete. Tell me what team I'm a fan of, bro.
I mean, I don't know if you're a fan, man. I don't know if you're really a fan. I don't know if you should be rocking that hat right now, dog. All them side texts you've been texting me during the game.
What I've been texting you? What I've been texting you? Pull up the text. Pull up the text.
Pull up the text. Nah, man. I just know that you know, we know each other. Y'all may not know. We knew each other for damn near 2 decades, 20 years, something. A lot of time, and you know, a strong part of our friendship grew up on us both being diehard fans. You know, back when I first met this kid, I remember it was during a poker game. You know, he was like, "Oh, you were a Lakers fan, and I was a Kings fan," and I was thinking, like, man, these Lakers. Every Lakers fan I know is also a Raiders fan. And he was like, "Nah, I'm a Niners fan." I was like, "What?" Okay, all right. So we got something in common. And you remember that day?
Yeah, I remember that day.
Yeah, you remember when I knocked you out the poker tournament?
Oh my god!
Let me tell y'all a story, man.
Go ahead, bro.
This dude was talking shit, and this is the first time I met him, and I could talk some shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, this motherfucker out here talking shit. I didn't know how to play poker that well. He probably had the upper hand on me at that time, but there was what was it? It was like
one hand. It was like one hand.
Yeah,
I think I was bluffing.
No, you wasn't bluffing. You was I remember I had like J9, and you know what I'm saying? And I'm over here playing my hand. I see on the flop it's like a jack, blank, blank, and then on the turn it's like another jack. And you were talking shit, and you was just like, and I'm thinking in my head like, what the fuck does this guy got? Is he bluffing me right now? And he was talking shit, standing up over me, throwing the chips in, throw your chips in, throw your chips in. I threw my chips in. Yeah, he was standing up. Yeah, give me my money. Yeah, put all that. Oh, that's mine. Flipped over like a jack 3. And I was like, ho, don't touch my chips, dog.
Oh, yeah.
That jack 9. Yeah, let's scoop all that shit up, man. Yeah. And ever since then, man, he's been trying to get his get back. Just never happened.
I've been trying to get my get back. All I gotta do is bring up one name, and you're gonna have tears running down your face. So I talk about Patience Stojakovic.
Oh,
there we go. There we go.
You played me. That's crazy, man.
You know, but it's cool. It's funny, man, because like just the Niners overall, like we both rocking Niner hats. As I've gotten older, like my fandom has diminished. Like I'm not overly emotional about games because there was a time where like that shit would affect me. We lost the game on Sunday. Like if we would have lost like our loss last year against the Eagles, that shit would have crushed me for like a week, and I wouldn't have talked to nobody. I'd have answered my phone. I'd have been declining. Like that's the type of fan I was. But as I got older, as I got kids, as I realized like, yo, this shit is much bigger than football. I kind of have dialed. That's my squad. This is my squad. You see the stuff in the back. That's my squad. I just think the diehard that maybe everybody else is. You ain't even a diehard like that.
Get the fuck out of here. You kidding me? I'm a die-hard fan, bro. Like
you a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, bro. Let's be real. Let's be real.
Nah, man. You're probably gonna hear this a couple times on the show, man. Tampa Bay. I used to live in Tampa for like 8 months during like my freshman year in high school. That happened to be the same year. Tampa was going hard. You know, Mike Allstott was trucking dudes. You know, they had Warwick Dunn. They had that defense, John Lynch, back over there on the back end. They was raw. And so I come back, meet this guy, and I'm talking about how raw that defense was. He was like, man, you ain't no real fan. You a Tampa fan. Man,
you have the jerseys and everything, bro. You can't even name 4 49ers from that team.
Yeah, what's up?
You can't even name 4 49ers from the 2002 team.
Get the hell out of here.
I ain't gonna put you on the spot right now.
I'll name them all right now.
Go ahead.
I'll name them all right now. I'll name that whole 52 roster.
Go ahead. Let's see it.
But I ain't gonna do it, man. Nah, that was Jeff Garcia. We had Jeff Garcia. We had T.O.
Yeah.
We had Eric, the tight end, Eric something. who I thought was raw at the time until we actually got some real tight ends. What was his name? I don't know. Someone with an M. We had was that Cat? We had Garrison Hurst.
Garrison Hurst.
Yeah, we had that was the last years of Bryant Young, who I was like, Bryant Young's a dog, and he was good. He was good, but he wasn't that good. We had that white
Bryant
dude.
Young was him. He was
good. Yeah. No, don't get me wrong. The reason why I'm making that comparison that he was good, but he wasn't that good. He was great, right? He was him. But back in the day when I first started watching sports, when I would be watching us getting dogged in the playoffs by the Packers, Brett Favre and them boys.
Yeah, all the
and
time.
It was like Reggie White was the dude who was fucking us up on defense. Yeah. And I'll be thinking like, who the fuck is our Reggie White? And I'm like, oh, we got Bryant Young, and this is me, as a kid. Yeah. But Bryant Young wasn't anything compared to Reggie White.
Yes.
But he was still him. You know what I'm saying?
Reggie White, Hall of Famer, All Pro. Bryant Young, Pro Bowler. Difference.
Pro Bowl, exactly.
There's a difference, but
he's gonna make the All Niners team, maybe. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
He in the Niners Ring of Honor. We gonna go to that one, the Ring of Honor, but not the Hall of Fame, G.
Yeah.
You know another player that might be more Ring of Honor than a Hall of Fame one day, Brock Purdy. How you feeling about him, bro? Because obviously I could throw a little shade right there, but Brock Purdy, bro, we got to talk about the game. Obviously,
let's talk about it.
We got to talk about it, bro. Detroit Lions came out and absolutely threw on the gas early. CJ Gardner-Johnson, we talked about him on the show last week, running his mouth, waving to the crowd. The game looked like it looked dire for a minute there. That first half, I was like, bro, how did the Niners come out of this thing? Yeah. Right. And then we seen the second half. We all know what happened there. Brock Purdy played a hell of a second half. Whether you want to say lucky plays or not, plays were made on the field. So how are you feeling heading into the Super Bowl? Brock Purdy has established, I think he's quieted a lot of haters, a lot of people that think he's was a 7th round pick, isn't the long-term solution for the Niners. I think he proved he's a long-term solution for the Niners. How are you feeling about him overall, though?
I mean, look, there clearly is like there clearly is a game plan against him. Brock Purdy, look, I think he's shutting up the haters, just keeping that shit real, right? Like every week as he advances in these playoffs, even during the regular season, everybody's got something bad to say about him. Everybody's got some sort of hate, and he's overcoming that. A lot of people are just like still hanging on to, but look, he's not a crazy arm talent, but what he's going to do for you, that motherfucker's going to create. I think that he's proven he's a playmaker. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are, come on, son. How is he not playmaking? He can create when the play's not there. He can extend plays with his feet. I've talked about how elusive this kid is in the pocket, but Brett was putting on the wheels, man. Brett was putting on the wheels in that second half. He was doing what he had to do to win that game. Granted, I would say we won the game, but did Detroit lose the game versus us winning the game? That's something, you know what I mean? That goes.
We're going to talk about Dan Campbell in a minute, Mr. Go for it every fourth, thinking this game's Madden. But when I look at Purdy and I look at a tale of two halves, right? I look at a quarterback who was making some early on, making some errant passes, wasn't moving the offense down the field like we expected. We were trying to rely a little bit too much on McCaffrey early on, and we expected Brock to make some plays that in the first half he didn't. Second half, once that Ayuk catch happened, I think we saw what makes Brock Purdy special. It's kind of the intangibles. It's the fact, I think the only hate for Brock Purdy right now is that the fact that he was getting MVP votes. The fact that people were saying he was the MVP of the league, that's what drew the hate, because I don't think he's an elite quarterback. I don't think anybody on the 49ers team, or I think most people probably know that Brock Purdy's not elite. But I think that's where if there's any criticism there, he's shown that he's not an elite quarterback to me, and there's other players with higher potential. For this offense, he is a game manager, and get
the hell out of here.
He's a game manager, bro.
You mentioned that the hate is because he's getting MVP votes.
Yeah.
And for him to be getting MVP votes, is that a criteria you have to be an elite quarterback? And then the second follow-up question is like, what is an elite quarterback to you?
So I think an elite so first of all, I do think that the critiques, I do think it's valid because if you have an MVP, you need to be the most valuable player on your team. And I don't think Brock Purdy was that for the 49ers, unfortunately. Like, he's playing well. He's leading this team. You're the quarterback of this team. But are you the reason that this team was the number one seed in the NFC? I don't think that's the reason why. I think they could do that with a number of different quarterbacks. That's my point, is you put Jimmy G there, you put probably Sam Darnold there. I think we can see somewhat similar results from this Niner team.
No, hell
and then
no.
the second part of what you asked me is game manager, right? You asked me about him being a game manager, right?
No, I said what is an elite quarterback to
elite? So an elite quarterback, you can be an elite quarterback and still be a game manager. I think we saw that out of like a Tom Brady. We've seen quarterbacks who command the offense, drive the ball downfield, but maybe aren't making plays out of the normal because they can rely on the scheme, they can rely on the coach, and they can rely on just their intangibles. And I think the one thing that Brock Purdy is showing me, one thing he's showing me is that he got that it. Some motherfuckers just don't have it, right? Jimmy G didn't have it. He didn't have it. In those moments, we didn't see things go his way. Sometimes the ball just happens to bounce certain people's way in life. They got things in life that just happen. No matter what they deal is, they can do whatever, they put hexes on things and spells and whatever the shit is. It doesn't matter. Numerology, Illuminati, things happen to bounce certain people's way. And I think Brock Purdy is just one of those players that maybe for all of his misfortunes, he's not elite Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert when it comes to arm power, Lamar Jackson when it comes to running the football. But Brock Purdy does have the it factor, and I think that matters, and I think that's why you see the teammates rally around him. So for the hate that I have for maybe some of his inadequacies on the field that I think he has and some of the growth he's going to have to take as a player, I do believe Brock Purdy has shown that he has that one thing that's able to win football games that you can't quantify.
Those intangibles. Okay. And is that so? Would you say that that's growth on your end, just noticing that, or is that growth on his end, just showing you that, or where was it changed? Like, what were you thinking before?
So I think I was thinking before is that this all was tied to how explosive can this Niners offense be, right? Okay. With the right player at the helm who can use these weapons. I mean, you got Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk. Like, you have a plethora of weapons, a really good offensive line that can protect. You have a great defense on the other side. So what kind of player can go up against a Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl and get the job done? That was one of the biggest question marks I felt with Jimmy G, is that if he was going up against Mahomes, 9 times out of 10, Mahomes is going to win that game. We don't have enough. If they get a 30-point lead, the game's over. 20-point lead, the game's over. 10-point lead, the game's over. Like, that was the history of Shanahan with normal quarterbacks. And I think the turning point for me with Brock Purdy wasn't just the comeback, it was how we came back. There was play. So a lot of people are going to go to the Brandon Ayuk play, right? The off the face mask catch for touchdown. That's cool. But then we also forget about third or fourth down. Brock Purdy goes, he scrambles, steps up in the pocket. He kind of goes, he rolls to the left side, throws damn near a jump pass across the field, and Juwan Jennings catches that thing one-handed.
It's not
the greatest play quarterback-wise. It's not the one you want to see your quarterback making, but he made the play, P. The week before that, we're seeing a throw on, what was it, fourth down in that game, and he's throwing the same thing. He's scrambling around in the pocket, throws it right over the linebacker's hand, literally right over the linebacker's hand. Juwan Jennings stretches up to go get that one. And I'm like, you know what? Sometimes there's people and players that make plays that just ain't supposed to happen. You know who used to do that? Eli Manning.
Eli used to do that, bruh. Eli getting pulled on.
And he wasn't great. He's not the greatest quarterback. I never call him Peyton Manning, but he was a winner. He got shit done when it mattered the most. So that's the page, I guess, if you want to say I'm turning a page on Brock Purdy. He's had enough time now to show me in these games. He just has where the ball bounces certain people's way in life. He is one of those people.
That's crazy. Yeah, great. Yeah, Eli Manning, I could see, I could definitely see that, like how he fit into that mold. I could definitely see how he could fit into that mold, that Eli Manning. Yeah. But I think that's still, and this, you may say that this is the Niner fan in me. I think he's a little bit better than that, bro.
Better than what?
better than like an Eli Manning. You know what I'm saying? Like Eli, like people say he's got all the weapons and that's why he's successful. People say it's the coaching, that's why he's successful. Those definitely are a factor, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's something to say with him, the difference between him and Jimmy G. There's an 8-point difference with that same team, right? Niners scoring 8 more points with Brock Purdy than they would with Jimmy G, right? We're talking about accuracy. We're talking about like he's putting up the same stats, probably even like better than like Joe Burrow's like best season, right? But Joe Burrow is looked at as this dude who has moxie, this dude who is a top 3 quarterback in the league. Why doesn't he get why isn't it going to his offensive coordinator? Why isn't the credit going to him? Why isn't credit going to his weapons? I mean, he has some of the best fucking wide receivers in the league, the 3 best wide receivers in the league. He has a stud running back behind him. All he does is throw. Like, what's the difference really? Like, he's not a crazy arm talent, right? He's accurate. Brock Purdy's accurate, right? He doesn't have the highest, like the livest arm. So what's the difference between him and Brock Purdy, in your opinion?
The major difference, and this is kind of where it'll sound like, hey, this is the major difference to me, though, is if I move Purdy.
It'll sound like what?
It'll sound like hate to the untrained ear.
Let's preface with that.
To the untrained ear.
Oh, okay. I like that.
So Purdy, we put him on Cincinnati. He's gonna look more Jake Browning-esque. I don't know if he'll look better or worse. He will look more Jake Browning-esque than he will on the Niners because the situational, right? You're checking down. You can throw those screen passes to Debo and get 20, 30 yards out of him. You can throw checkdowns to Christian McCaffrey and get 30 yards in the receiving game. But when you got to throw the ball downfield, when you get tested downfield, I think that's the one area he lacks. So we're looking at him as a game manager, I think, because of arm talent. Like that's kind of the correlation, I think, is we're looking at him because he doesn't have crazy live arm. He's not throwing 70 yards downfield, even though that ball to Ayuk was a shot.
Yeah.
He doesn't have crazy arm talent. He don't have crazy speed, even though he showed mobility in the second half of the game. I'm saying how we're judging these players is the level of throws, and I think consistently that you have to make. And I think that's probably what we're judging Burrow versus a Purdy.
Okay.
You agree with that or not?
Not 100%, no. Because I mean, if like we got Ayuk, we got Debo, which is dope, but everybody, like you said it yourself. You said he's like, he's doing all those checkdowns. This dude doesn't throw that many checkdowns. He's more looking downfield than anything. There's plays where he made like that play we were talking about on third down in the Packers game, right? Where he did to Jawan Jennings, right over. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
There was 2 checkdowns right there, Kittle and C-Mac. He surpassed both of those guys. And it pushed the ball downfield. He's averaging he's averaging highest. I'm trying to say the deep throw. Yeah, he's averaging most yards per attempt.
You're a stat nerd.
I know, right? Yeah. That ain't me. I'll tell you that. But I mean, there's a lot of knocks to him. It's like there's a lot of people saying he's good, but right? He's good, but. All this kid, and mind you, this is his second year, 2 NFC championships, 1 Super Bowl.
He got to win it, though. He's got to win. The bar for him is winning.
The bar for him is winning. Okay, well let me ask you something about this, man. If the bar for him is winning, what does that put? What does that put Lamar for you? Your real favorite quarterback. Let's talk about Lamar, man, because that's ugly, bro. Like I love Lamar. I got a lot of love for Lamar. They gave him the contract. They gave him the weapons. They gave him an elite defense. He's got a great coach. What's up with your boy choking in the playoffs, man?
Man, it's tough to see, bro. And I could put blame on Todd Monken. I can put blame on Todd Monken. I can put blame because that's what everybody's going to do. Oh, they should have ran the football. How about you got a quarterback? If you're going to pass the ball, be better. Just be better. At the end of the day, make better throws. And I know that this team, we talk about the ball bouncing in certain people's way. It's like Zay Flowers played a hell of a game, fumbled on the goal line. We got just little things that happen during a game. And it's like Lamar, I love Lamar the player, and there's no doubt in my mind Lamar's going to win a Super Bowl at some point. I don't doubt that in my mind. But his time is not right now. It's unfortunate, and you got to go through some of that. I have labeled him as a winner, but I got to hold him to the same standards I'm holding anybody else to. He ran into Mahomes, but I got to hold him to the same standards. And right now, until he gets there, he ain't even got there yet. You got to get there first, Lamar. I'm expecting more.
Win a conference final, man. I think that game is tough because a lot of it does go on the coordinators. But at the same time, like there was a 3rd and 2 play, and then he did a full drop back. Like run the fucking rock, right? You had your Gus Edwards average 6 yards a carry. Where the fucking running at? Where's the rushing at? In their first drive, that was made alive by him doing like a 30-40 yard run, right? That's what you do. You got to embrace that. You're not going to outduel Mahomes, but more importantly, you're not going to outdo Spagnuolo. That defensive coordinator is crazy. This is arguably one of Mahomes' worst offenses, and you can't beat that. And with that defense, you have faith in him winning eventually. If not now, then when? Like if you got that setup, you got the offensive coordinator you want. You went out and said, "I want OBJ." Barely use him. They're paying him a fat contract. Granted, this offseason could make some improvements. You got a rookie wide receiver who's electric.
First round receiver in Rashad Bateman.
And Rashad Bateman's still there. Yeah, don't sleep on him. And you got an elite tight end.
Oh, you go sign Dalvin Cook for this championship run.
Bruh, I'm excited to see what he adds to the offense. If not now, then when, bro? Like, if there was a time to beat Pat Mahomes, it was this year. Because who knows who they're going to get.
But they had their opportunities. It's not like they didn't have their opportunities. It's like the team wasn't good enough. It'd be different if Kansas City just went out there and waxed them.
If the team was good enough, they would have won.
They weren't good enough on that game. I'll give you that. They're not good enough. They weren't good enough to win that Sunday or Saturday, whatever the fucking game.
You know what? I'm going to tell you like this.
They had opportunities to win that game. Same thing as the Lions. It would be like saying the Lions aren't, if not with winning for the Lions, like Dan, if you're going to talk like Dan Campbell did about his team, we got to get to that too.
Woo!
Straight loser talk from Dan Campbell.
Straight loser talk. Him crying? Let's talk.
My God. We'll talk Lions in a second, but I think Lamar will have an opportunity, and this will be a rivalry. Him and Mahomes. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a rivalry.
It's been a rivalry, but right now it's a rivalry the same way that the 90s Cowboys and Bills was a rivalry. Like, was it really a rivalry if they never won? You know what I'm saying? Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, we gotta call it like we see it, bruh. Great in regular season. Last year he was labeled as like, yo, you could have played, but you didn't. You're holding out for that contract. Okay, I get it. Okay, your team gave you everything you wanted. It wasn't 100% guaranteed, but your team gave you everything you wanted. And you mean to tell me you're their franchise? You mean to tell me you can't be like, yo, Todd, I don't think we should pass here. Like, let's focus on what we do. Right? Like, how you letting this other team get you out of your own element? And you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. The one thing I'll say is this: is like we kind of did the same thing. Peyton Manning for a long time was considered like a choke artist, couldn't get it done, and it took a while for him to get a couple Super Bowls. You know what I mean? There's a lot of players that have to go through that because they go through that conference is tough. Like with Brady, it was just tough for those guys to get Super Bowls in that era, and it's going to be tough for AFC teams to get Super Bowls in this era with Pat Mahomes because that motherfucker is him.
Ooh, that
Mahomes is him.
Andy Reid, Pat Mahomes combo, that's crazy.
There was talk saying Andy Reid might be out and Belichick might come in, bro. I think that'd be the worst thing that could happen.
I don't know where you're hearing them talks from.
It's some rumor. It'd be Twitter shit. You know how Twitter shit is.
Yeah. That's crazy. I mean, you talk about Belichick real quick. Like Belichick, there's a whole that conversation about is it Belichick or is it from Brady, like their success, right? I was talking to my friends about that, and it's like, it's hard to deny. I know they go hand in hand, but it's like I'm thinking this. You could put that success more towards Brady than Belichick because you're looking at it and it's like his coaching career in the past when he was a head coach at the on the Browns was subpar.
Yeah.
He gets Brady, you know what I mean? He's having success, great defensive coordinator, elite defensive coordinator, right?
Yes.
Let's not get that misconstrued. Questionable head coach based off of his decisions on who he's bringing in terms of personnel. You know what I'm saying? Like, and
he's a hell of a GM.
No, he's not a hell of a GM. A hell of a GM?
Belichick was a hell of a GM.
Oh my God. Bro.
How are we not? You're not gonna say Belichick was a hell? The way he's able to bring vets in, the way the contracts, the way that they was able to keep Brady on that minimal ass contract to put pieces around. They consistently brought good free agents in.
That's not attributed to him.
Traded for players on fourth round, getting Moss for a 4th round pick.
Yeah, he got Moss.
I mean, you got to give him a little bit of credit as a GM.
Yeah, that's but like, what has he done? Like, what has he done to build that franchise out on the back end of Brady's career? Like, what replacements are you bringing in? Right?
No, he sucked recently, but
and not just recently, but like the 2-3 years in the past, like in Brady's final years in there. Like, you got to set that franchise up. Instead, you're really on the low beefing with Brady, thinking, that ego is coming into play. Like, hey, this is me. And I get it, I get it. But at the same time, the facts are the facts, bro. Without Brady, he's been a losing quarterback, a losing head coach, not just in New England, also with the fucking Browns. Like, facts are facts. It is what it is.
Yeah. I think Belichick is I think he set the team up, and it was just one of those one of a lifetime things because they were winning with Drew Bledsoe. So let's not forget that. It's not like Drew Bledsoe didn't have that team in the AFC Championship before Brady replaced his ass. You know what I'm saying? Or whenever it was. They were in the playoffs, and then he got replaced. So to me, I'm like, okay, they were still a decent team with Bledsoe. I'm sure that Belichick would have had some success, but I don't think it would have been at the level of, obviously, when you have a GOAT quarterback in Tom Brady. He is who he is. And I kind of think that's, Andy Reid, we talk about career losers. Like, Andy Reid was known as a loser until he got Mahomes, right? It would always get there, not get it done in Philly. He was known as the guy that couldn't win the big one. Big Red was known as the guy in Philly that just couldn't get the job done. Always got to the AFC Championship and lost. So I kind of think these GOAT quarterbacks, like when you talk about a Brady, you talk about a Mahomes, they're just difference makers, bro. And it helps these coaches' legacies. Phil Jackson won with GOATed players. We call him a great coach. It's like a lot of times you attribute great coaching to having great players. So, but like this team now, this Chiefs team, without Tyreek Hill, the offense don't look the same. They really don't. I mean, Rashee Rice is good, but has he been like this elite 1,500-yard receiver? No. Travis Kelce hasn't looked like himself except to the playoffs. Now he's starting to look like Kelce. But, I mean, Mahomes, bro, talk about him for a second because what he's doing is wild right now. Like, bro, I didn't think, honestly, like once the playoffs got here, I was like, ain't no way he about to do this shit again. Like, I didn't think it was happening. I didn't think Super Bowl again once the playoffs started.
Yeah. I mean, I would, a lot of that is the defense. Like this defense is fucking nuts. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, they held. What is his average points per game in the playoffs?
They held Baltimore 17, but you think it's the defense more than like just Mahomes right now?
I don't think it's the defense necessarily more than Mahomes, but the defense is a strong reason why they are at where they are now, right? Like,
of course,
it's probably equal to what Mahomes is doing. Mahomes is working with what he's got, a rookie wide receiver and Travis Kelce, and they're leaning on that fucking run game, right? Angry ass Pacheco running. But that, you know what I'm saying? But it's not like Pat Mahomes is not making the throws. The nigga, he's making all the fucking throws and under duress and barely getting sacked. I don't even know if he got sacked.
I don't know if he got sacked either.
Bro, like he's barely taking any sack. Mahomes is elite. Let me just make that shit clear, right? But just with the lack of weapons, I think Andy Reid's created play calling, his game planning to run up with this big stack box or run up with this big stack against his big stack defense against Baltimore and just showing that, hey, we could run this shit on you and that opens up everything else. That's what's up.
I just look at the high level plays. Like when you start thinking about it, because obviously the Dolphins game, Dolphins only scored 6 points. Buffalo scored 24 points. Ravens scored 10 points, right? So it's not like you're right, the defense has helped. But then when you start looking at just Mahomes in general and just the fact that, like, we talk about the intangible with Brock Purdy, that it factor is like Mahomes got it times 1,000. And it's just like he just has, no matter what the scenario is, he's on a hurt ankle last year. They're up against the odds this year, underdogs against Buffalo, and like just no matter underdogs against the Ravens, no matter what the circumstances are, it feels like that dude just no matter what finds a way, bro. And I think it's a testament to him, but I also think like Reed, just the development with Reed has created a special combination, bro. So I don't know if Belichick could come in there and run that team, or if there's any credence to even him coming to KC if Andy Reid does leave. But the one area we will find out even more than we've already found out about Mahomes after Tyreek Hill left, we'll find out even more about Mahomes if this indeed is Kelsey's last year.
Ooh, and that's huge, man, because we never see Mahomes without Kelsey. You know,
damn, but like
he's always been that safety blanket, like not in a. I mean, he's always been that X factor. Kelsey on some choice routes is crazy. Like, let's be real. Like, Kelsey's getting open. Kelsey's shining on these all-pro safe. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's like that.
Receiver.
Oh my God, bro! He's not only a receiver, but he's just kind of like what makes that offense go outside of Pat Mahomes. Pat gets all the credit, but you see both him and Pat pregame talking shit, kicking. You know what I mean? Like that's him and Pat. That's that duo, bro. He's got all the playoff records for a reason. He's outdoing Jerry Rice in the playoffs with those stats. You know what I'm saying? Like he's got all that shit for a reason. But when he goes, that's crazy.
It's going to be crazy to see because the thing is, the way the NFL is right now, there's a lot of vets that aren't going to get paid by these teams. They're going to be like, yo, fuck this. I'm about to just go play with Mahomes. Fuck the bread. If I'm not going to get paid, why D-Hop? If D-Hop gets cut, why would I go anywhere else but Kansas City? Derrick Henry should go to Kansas City. Darren Waller's about to get his ass cut. Why would I take a vet man to go play with Pat Mahomes and revive my career? Be the new Kelsey. There's going to be a bunch of players that are like, oh, shit, there's opportunity in this offense. It's not Tyreek. It's not Kelsey. Like, I could be the one. There's going to be like 2 or 3 big-name free agents that go play for them on the low. I think at least.
Yeah.
Which would be crazy, but there's a lot because they got to win the Super Bowl. I think, to stay attractive, you want to win the Super Bowl, and we'll talk about the Super Bowl obviously later. But you see Mahomes Sr. smoking on that Lamar Jackson.
Oh, nice.
I was cold, bro. He said we smoking on that Lamar pack because he had a cigar. And he was like, we smoking on that Lamar pack. I was like, yo, hey, for all that ketchup on steak and all that, we talking the Pat Mahomes shit. His dad is cool as hell, bro.
Yeah, his dad a real one. Man. But I don't know about his little brother, but that's that.
You was fanboying over his little brother.
He was like, maybe we should do some of them dances. He was like, Pete, let's do some of them TikTok dances. Get some I was like, bro, you gotta miss me with that. But man, I really, to be real, from a football fan's perspective, I wanted to see Lamar go in there and handle business. Yeah. I wanted to see Lamar do that and handle business. From a Niners perspective, I think I'd rather play this KC team over that Baltimore team.
I don't know.
I mean, I just on pure like matchups, you know what I'm saying? Like from a matchup and X's and O's, I think that it would be tougher for us to go against that defense than this defense. And I think
I think with the Ravens, you know what to expect. Like, you're gonna get, you should at least, you're gonna get a lot of running. You're gonna get, obviously, there's multiple ways for them to win.
Yeah.
But you kind of know that they're running the football, playing defense, beating you on the occasional third down throw. Like, that's how the Ravens beat you. With the Chiefs, it could be a number of ways, bro. They got that one motherfucker, bro. You don't know, like, you just never know what he gonna do, dog. Like, he might rip off a 60-yard pass. He might rip off a 30-yard run. They might Pacheco it to death. He might beat you on some crazy cross throw pass. Like, you just don't know what to expect out of him, bro.
Yeah, I can't, because we and part of me wants that get back, bro. Part of me wants that get back from 2019. But like in that game, we had that shit in the bag until he created and did that fucking dart to that on a rope to motherfucking Tyreek. Like that from right when he made that shit, I was like, even though we was up 10 at that point, I was like, I don't know, son. I don't know.
You know who was up and lost it, bro? The Lions. They was up and lost it, bro. Like they really thought they had that game in the bag. And to be honest, I thought they did too. I'm not gonna sit here and lie like I didn't think that the game, the way that thing was trending the first half, I was like, bro, this Lions unit, how the fuck are we about to beat them? And to see the way they crumbled in that third quarter, literally like a 5-minute span, it felt like you got Gibbs fumbling, you got Dan Campbell going forward to they could have made it a 3-score game. Like to me, they put the L in Lions for sure in that game because that was that little segment of football, that 5-minute segment, 8 minute, however long it wasn't very long.
Yeah,
that was some terrible just football overall, terrible.
It was rough, man. It was rough because I was scared, bro. And me, I'm lightweight superstitious. So when we got that score, my son came in with a thing. He was like, "Dad, I'm gonna go back upstairs and play with these Legos." I was like, "No, you stay right there because we score when you're sitting right there." You know what I'm saying? But no, it was tough because there was really bullying us around, right? It was like, it was like, what we doing, Steve? Like Steve Wilkes, like you got to have a game plan because they can't keep running it off the tackles like this and just carving us the fuck up. If they would have kept doing that, that's one thing. But I will tell you this, like Dan Campbell, he goes for it on fourth down. That's what the fuck he does. You know what I'm saying? He goes for it on fourth down. But you can tell he's never been on a big stage in the playoffs like that, bro, because ain't no way when you are choking a team out and you're beating them like that, you can a defense like us, an opportunistic defense in our home field, you can't risk not converting on fourth down because that momentum swing is going to be crazy. And once we got the momentum, it's rough, bro. It's rough for you. You know what I'm saying?
It didn't make sense. Like it made sense because that's who he is, and I think we know he's an emotional. Like the one thing we can say about Dan Campbell, he's all big on emotions and like trusting your players. I get it. The players probably wanted to go for it too. Like he sent a message: "We are dominant. We're about to, man's man type move. Like we're gonna win this game." Yeah. But in essence, it also felt like he was playing not to lose. It felt like that because when you go for it, I get it. You got the cojones, you're going for it. But in that moment, it's like you play to win the game. And to me, kicking the field goal is almost like, all right, I trust my defense who's been playing well. I trust my offense to go down and score again. We've been playing this football game well. Like, let's get the 3 scores. Let's make this more difficult on the Niners. You're playing chess at that point. He was trying to take it to like, I'm not scared to lose. We can go for it. Like, you're doing a little bit too much there, in my opinion. So I think I understand where he was going with it. Played that situation all wrong. And it also was a couple of really, to me, it invoked like, I'm getting chills right now. It kind of invoked some like bad feelings as a Niner fan. We see Josh Reynolds twice dropping basically your Super Bowl hope. All I'm doing is thinking about, bruh, I don't want to ever have no person with a regular ass name with my playoff hopes on the line. Josh Reynolds, Kyle
Williams. Get the fuck, boy. Oh my God, dog.
That's Kyle Williams right now. I'll be ready to square up with him.
I look at my Facebook post, my memories, and they were popping up. I was like, I remember I wrote something like, Kyle Williams is getting a lot of death threats, y'all. ... And I'm sending them too, boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, bro. Like, it was crazy. I can't. But no, I feel you on that. Like, Josh Reynolds is. I don't know how the Detroit's going to look at him. I just know
he's not back next year. He's not back next year,
I know we had that a few times. Kyle Williams. You know what I'm saying? And to be real, on this playoff run, I was thinking like Ambry Thomas, number 20. He's been giving up the fucking ass. Like, bruh, like in that Packers game, I was like, damn, not again, but I mean, we pulled through. But I will tell you this, man, like on those fourth downs, them going for it, it's one of those things because, and as a competitor and as somebody who's like that and trying to kill you, if he converts that, then we're looking at him as an elite coach. Like I think that if he converts that bumps him up in the rankings crazy to the media because it's like this is, he has the moxie. He's going for it as a head coach and he's converting.
Riverboat Ron.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, but at the same time, you just got to know, because there's the analytics side of it, and then there's the football side of it. You know what I'm saying? And even the people who are on the crazy analytics, like, oh, we make it this amount of percent of the time, and there's this percentage that says this, and if we lose, we're on this. Nah. And then there's a football side of it. It's like, we're just gung ho. We're just rah, rah, rah. You have to meet somewhere in the middle, and you just got to take all things in consideration.
It's situational.
In that situation in the playoffs, you gotta take your dubs, bro, because you already shown you could beat us up in the first half. That's all the highlights are gonna be in the first half. What more highlights you want to get? Because now, and this is a question for you, Jay. Looking forward, I mean, there was a question about if they're gonna keep their OC. They are. I think he's staying there. Yeah. But it's going to be way, way harder for them to get back here, because now the Lions are playing a bunch of first place teams. Now Green Bay's got stride, and Green Bay looks like a fucking monster. Green Bay beat you in the second half when they caught their stride. Mm-hmm. They're only getting better. Or when's your next opportunity to get back here, bro? It's not a fucking easy road for you.
I have no concerns about this Lions team. Like, it's going to be Lions, Niners. The Eagles are the team that's, to me, the one that's got the biggest question marks. They have major issues. Dallas, because the Eagles basically are like, hey, this is the dream team roster, and it's not even sufficient enough to beat Tampa. Like, that's an issue. Dallas has their own issues. They didn't beat Green Bay this year at home. So they'll have their issues. I think Detroit is a top 3 team. And if you're a top 3 team, you have a chance to repeat. So, like, Dan Campbell said that to me. He said that. And to me, I was like, bro, that's some of the lamest shit you can say.
Why the fuck are you saying that to your team?
That is the lamest shit you can say, is like, this might have been our only opportunity or our best chance. Like, fuck out of here, bro. We're going to come back better next year.
That's some weak shit. Yeah.
Some weak shit to say to men that just put that just put their efforts out there, took a bad L, an L in a game that they were winning, to be like, yo, this is our best chance. Fuck out of here. To me, I would lose a lot of respect for you as a coach. But
100%, bro. 100%. It's like, and you could tell he was emotional because Blood was crying, bro. He was crying like,
always crying about something.
He was like this. Are we ever gonna make it back? We ain't gonna make it back. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, bro, first off, look us in the eyes. Second off, like, bro, you gotta have some sort of speech, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? But he's an emotional coach. He's an emotional guy. He rides on his emotions.
That motherfucker be amped up off caffeine and coke.
Whatever it is, bro. He be like,
fight them strong tears.
Oh, bro, you already know he had them. What's his name?
Which one? The coach that when he opened his no Sean Moreno
tears, yeah.
no Sean Moreno tears, heavy ass tears.
Oh my god! But
I don't know. I like Dan Campbell and I like the Lions, and I think that, you know what I'm saying, like, I like what they're doing, because I have my doubts about them coming into the year, and I think they proved a lot of people wrong. To say that for him to say that, first of all, but then I think to think that the Lions don't have an opportunity, a strong chance to come back there, they're not losing nobody. They're only getting better, in my opinion. They're young too.
Yeah, they're young, but I don't think it's going to be an easy road at all.
What are they losing? They're not losing nothing. A lot of their younger players who are playing well are on good rookie contracts. St. Brown's, I think, is locked up already. You got Jared Goff playing. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to pay him. What are they losing? Laporta's on a rookie deal. Jahmyr Gibbs on a rookie deal. Jameson Williams on a rookie deal. Hutchinson's still on his rookie deal. Sewell's still on his rookie deal. Like, you got a lot of the main hogs there, and all you're going to do is attract more veterans to Detroit. So I actually think it's a pretty good scenario. They need to get another receiver, though, because it can't just be the same Brown and Laporta show.
Yeah, it can't. I mean, with that offense, it can, because they're basing it off the run, right? Like, you don't need another fucking wide receiver. Like, everybody doesn't run the same offense. You know what I'm saying?
You need another receiver so you don't have Josh Reynolds happen twice. That's why you need another receiver.
Yeah, I get that. But the reason I think it's hard is because, like, I don't think it's that easy for them to get as many wins. I don't think they're going to have home field advantage in the playoffs, right? I think their coach is going to get better. Their coach is definitely going to learn from his mistakes. But to be honest with you, like, who's the better team, them or Green Bay?
I think that'd be a 50-50 thing.
They're in the division. You know what I'm saying? And they lost to the Cowboys, right? Like, Cowboys got their problems. The Eagles got problems. But I think the Eagles' problems was more of like a court. But it's crazy talking about the Eagles because not only do they have like a coordinator issue, right? They brought in Kellen Moore, who's a downfield. He pushes the ball downfield. Does he have the arm strength to push it downfield consistently like that?
We know that firsthand.
Know that, man. Hey, if it's
found that out about Jalen before he became in the league.
like, bro, we 60 yards. Yeah, you need another 30 yards to get it over there. But
crazy story, real quick. We used to play Madden, so obviously we talked about Madden on the show, and we always draft the rookies before they come into the league. So a lot of times we're doing drafts like a year or two ahead, and one of the quarterbacks I took was Jalen Hurts. And your boy was running it up with Jalen Hurts, bro. We would play, I would be, took him from like a 72 overall to like a 99 overall in a year, was running it up with him, winning the MVP and shit. And then it got to a point where me and P had to play in a championship game. And I got all these fast-ass receivers. I got like the Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. I think at the time I had like Henry Ruggs, all speed, like 99.
Mecole Hardman.
Mecole Hardman. I was running with all the speed guys.
Yeah.
And then it came to a point where I'd be like, all right, bet he's open downfield. Let me chuck this down to Tyreek Hill. I'd be like, damn, that shit got undercut. 30-yard pass down. Damn, that shit got undercut again. I tried to throw it across the middle. Like, damn, how did the linebacker get that? Bro, that arm strength. Then we looked at the arm strength, and it was like 81 overall.
I'm like, bro, like the low 80s. I was thinking like, damn, bro, the ball's not getting there. Granted, I'm just that dude on Madden, but
not even that, bro.
But at the same time, you gotta throw these dudes open. And it's funny because a lot of the shit that we do on Madden, few years later, we start to see that shit transpire in the real NFL. Like, bruh, and that's where we come from. That's when we start saying, yo, if it's in the game, it's in the motherfucking game, bruh.
If it's in the motherfucking GA.
Yeah, if it's in the GA, bruh. I had moved, and watch, don't be surprised if the Cowboys move Trayvon Diggs over to free safety, because that's what your boy did on Madden. And I ain't saying I'm running shit, but hey, I ain't saying I ain't. But now getting back to the Eagles, though, I will say this: I think it's not just the coaching and whatnot, but I feel like a lot of players are turning their backs on Jalen Hurts. Like a lot of players are throwing him under the bus. We've seen AJ Brown make these little sly remarks, sly comments about just quarterbacks staying healthy, not just staying healthy, but quarterbacks turning it over and whatnot, ball security from him, and I don't know. I think it's a bigger.
It's because Jalen Hurts. To be real, Jalen Hurts is like Russell Wilson to me, bro.
Yeah,
he really is like. You know what I'm saying? He'd be like, "Oh, they turn their backs on me. It's because we got to turn a new leaf in this organization." So that's what it is. I'd be like, "Nigga, like, what are you talking about, bro? That's not what you need to say right now." Like, you got some Instagram quotes ready to go.
Instagram quotes, like, get the fuck out of here.
Before you prevail, you got to prevent, and at the same time, you got to prepare. So we all preach. You're like, what?
That's why we all pee. Bruh, yeah.
He could, but like I think he got an element of like I think he was winning. So a lot of the things that maybe we overlooked were like, hey, he's ready. The thing is he's kind of like Purdy in an instance, like a lot of people, but for whatever reason, because it was Jalen Hurts, it's like, oh, he's good now. Whereas Purdy, it's like he does that and we're like, he's not as good. Like when you got the super team around you, you take him far. Now we're like, oh, Jalen Hurts, he's got next. It was unexpected. But for whatever reason, Purdy don't get the same, even with me. I don't understand. Maybe it's because he can't run. But it's weird. It's weird. We don't go Purdy anymore, but it's kind of weird how we anointed Jalen Hurts. But then with Purdy, it's like, he ain't ready.
And that's a big reason why I'm like, yo, you guys just gotta give blood his flowers, because everybody's getting anointed. Everybody and their mom's getting anointed. You know what I mean? But back then it wasn't like that. Back then it was like, if you're a Russian quarterback, you got all these questions around you, right? Everybody's picking at you. It was crazy how it was, because everybody's like, well, he might as well just be a running back. Or, let's see how we
RG3.
You know what I'm saying? But now
Lamar 5 years ago.
Lamar his entire career up until like, you know what I'm saying? Like Lamar and LSU, not LSU, Lamar and Louisville.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, why he got drafted that late is beyond me. Man. Sam Darnold over. Come on, bro. But long story short, it's like you got the prototype. I wouldn't say he's prototypical, but you got a pocket passer who's elusive in the pocket, and he's getting crazy criticism for what?
Yeah, we'll see. I want to see. I'm gonna be a hater until I see him win a Super Bowl. Then I'll be a Brock Purdy stan. Other than Brock Purdy.
I don't know if you probably find something else at that point. You know
he didn't win it good enough.
Yeah.
Should have been my 30 points instead of 20.
Yeah.
Speaking of coaching changes, we talked about coaching changes. Jim Harbaugh headed to LA. Shout out to Jim Harbaugh. You know what I'm saying? Led our Niners to an almost Super Bowl. Had a couple almost moments with Harbaugh. What do you think about him in with the chalk?
Bro, I love it. You know, I'm always gonna love Jim Harbaugh, man. He turned an 8-8 team, took that same team to 12-4 the next year. What I want to see though from him, just being real, is like who he's gonna hire, like who are his assistant coaches, because Harbaugh is a rah-rah guy. Harbaugh's a personality, you know what I'm saying? Like real talk, he is. Harbaugh also had elite coaches around him, right? Elite defensive coordinator in Vic Fangio. I wanted to see him go there, but he got snatched up.
Yeah, he's back in Philly.
Yeah, so I want to see who his player personnel is going to be. But I love it for the fact that he's going to be a strong presence, a strong personality, just a strong presence in that organization. That's what the fuck that they needed. They needed somebody they needed an identity. And with their last coach, he was weak, bruh. He was weak, just plain.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what Harbaugh does, because Harbaugh, you know, as much as he is a quarterback whisperer, especially when it comes to like what Justin Herbert's going to be able to bring to the table, he also tends to stick to the ground game very heavily and trust the ground game, and he trusts the defense. So, like, I know Greg Roman's a free agent, and I'm like, I don't know, coordinator-wise, but that's the kind of move Harbaugh might make. Like, you might find a Greg Roman there, you know what I'm saying? So I'll be curious to see what he actually does. There was even talks about, like, Colin Kaepernick joining his coaching staff, which would be insane. You know what I'm saying? If he's the original Dab, we ain't gonna talk about that.
Yeah,
but it would be crazy to see Colin back on the field. We'll have a Colin Kaepernick conversation in the offseason. We definitely have to.
We got to, man. Much love for Colin Kaepernick, man.
Now it's love for Colin.
It's always been love, but you know what I'm saying? Like Cap with the fade couldn't be fucked with. Cap with the fro, love for what he stood for. Yeah, watch some turnovers, bro.
We'll talk about Kaepernick on a different show, but it would be. I want to kind of get your feedback, because what do you think about Herb, man? If Herb, obviously, Harbaugh's going to go there and make a great impact on Justin Herbert. Now, it may not result into the numbers like 5,000, 5,500 yards, but I think we will see an improvement for Herbert. You think Jim Harbaugh can go down to LA and turn Justin Herbert into a Super Bowl type quarterback? Or what's your expectation with this pairing?
To be honest with you, I think it's great. I think it's the best thing that could happen with Herbert, right? Because Herbert came into the league and took it by storm his rookie year, shown he could run, shown he could make every damn throw, right? The talent for Herbert is there, right? And earlier in his career, he only had 5 years in his career so far, but early in his career, he had shown he could make every throw, and he had shown he could make throws in high pressure situations to put them into the playoffs against the Raiders that year. On fourth down, right? Throwing these touchdown passes, but he's been getting a lot of knocks, and I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's been getting a lot of knocks on him that he's not a winner, right? And he hasn't really been a winner, although the talent is there. I think that was just a testament to shitty coaching, right? As far as what I think Harbaugh is going to bring there, I think Harbaugh is going to elevate him in a sense that he's just going to elevate that entire team, but he's going to, teach him what to do, what not to do, what mistakes to make, like in these pressure situations, what you should be looking at, right? Versus just like, getting pressure and sticking on your read and like forcing it in there like he was doing against Dallas this year, right? When he's under pressure. But I think it's going to be good for him ultimately. And I think we're going to start to see Herb more in the conversation. In my opinion, he should be that top 5 quarterback.
I don't know if he's a top 5. I think he just excites everybody with the arm. Like, he has such a live arm. And I think he does get a little errant at times. And I don't know. I like Herbert as a player, but like when we start talking about those intangibles, like it's the one thing I haven't seen with Herbert is, the one area I'm like, oh, Purdy's ready to go, intangibles. I don't know that Herbert has those. So this would be a good opportunity for Harbaugh to bring that out. If Herbert really does have that and he's more than just an arm talent, I think Harbaugh is the right fit to show that. So for me, I'm excited about the pairing, excited to see who they bring in because I know Harbaugh is going to bring a lot of people that want to play for him. That's the one thing I know is he'll get some good vets in there too. So excited to see what happens with the Charger team, but that's going to be tough in this AFC, bro. The AFC is nasty right now, dog.
It's going to be crazy. That's going to be crazy, man.
Last thing on that, speaking of AFC coaching changes, Arthur Smith got a job. You see where he went?
He went to your boy Najee and them. I've seen that. That's your boy. That's your boy.
He wasn't bad this year. Everybody just go off of the first part of the season. Najee was 1,000-yard back this year, bro.
I know people are gonna say that, but that really don't mean that much, bro. Like if you think about it, you break it down, he really only had 2 games over 100 yards rushing. Like that's trash.
That ain't trash. 1,000 yards ain't trash. What was he top? He was top 10 in rushing, wasn't he?
I don't know. Let's pull it up.
But at the end of the day, Matt Canada's out and Arthur Smith is in. It's gonna make things confusing because I know George Pickens was mad with Matt Canada in there. I don't know what the hell George Pickens gonna do with Arthur Smith, bro. He might fire on him. Like straight up. George Pickens gonna be ready to square up with Arthur Smith at some point, bro. All I know is Pittsburgh. Hey, I ain't drafting no Pittsburgh players next year, bro. None. Not one. Deontay, Pickens, not one of them motherfuckers. None of them are getting drafted. Not one. I lose you again. You back?
Yo, you with me?
Yeah,
you with me?
Yeah.
I will say this. I think if there is anybody I would draft under an Arthur Smith offense, it's gonna be the running back, right? Because Arthur Smith knows he can run the fucking rock, right? So he has those X's and O's down. He has those stats like, okay, this player gets it on this. These convert. He has that kind of mind, but if he can put the personnel in there, then I think it'll be good. As far as Najee goes, I don't think Najee's a talent per se. Like, I don't think he's I just don't think he's that talented. I think he's a big ass back, right? And just with the given opportunities that's there. But if Najee is there, I think we can see one of Najee's best seasons.
I mean, Derrick Henry obviously played well. Tyler Algier played well. Bijan played well for a rookie year.
Yeah.
Only thing is, he's going to mix it. For fantasy purposes, it's going to be tough to trust on a week-in, week-out basis because we're going to get Najee one week. We're going to get Jalen Warren the next week. We're going to get Deontay Johnson one week. We're going to get Pickens the next week. We're going to get Pat Fryman. We're going to get a whole mixed-ass bag with when it comes to Arthur Smith. But at the end of the day, shit, I'm probably going to avoid most of them anyway.
I don't know, man. At the end of the day, I don't know. Fantasy purposes, it's going to be tough, but it's I mean,
side note, how that you had a 20-pound brisket? How'd that come out?
Woo, boy! Hey, I'm gonna tell you like this, man. I had to chef up a brisket for the game, man. I don't know if you guys out there, if you guys are into smoking meats or whatnot, but we got into smoking meats recently. But yeah, man, it was one of the biggest briskets.
Recently, you've been doing the smoked meats for like 5-6 years now, right?
Yeah, it's been
You got all kind of little shenanigans over there. The green egg, the shred. Sit there. Don't be modest.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just I'm crafting my game, but brisket came out dope. I'll tell you that. And I tried some new things too. First time rendering all the fat that I trim off. Normally, I just throw that shit away.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
What'd you do with it?
It's beef tallow, right? So I put it in a mason jar now.
Uh-huh.
And I added it to the brisket when I wrapped it.
You did foil or butcher paper?
I did butcher paper, right? So you know the difference between the two?
I know one make like the bark a little bit softer, the other one make it a little bit more like it allows the air to creep through, the smoke to creep through a little bit better with the butcher paper.
Lightweight. The butcher paper makes the butcher paper is going to make the crust like more, prominent. Right. Yeah. Whereas the foil is just going to make the meat a little bit more juicy. Right. And it's going to actually cook faster with that. But I'm going to tell you like this, man. So I put that motherfucker on at like 7:30 at night. And that shit wasn't ready until like 2 the next day. Right. So 2 p.m. That's like 18 hours.
For a 20-pound brisket, that's not bad.
Yeah, shit. That was the longest one I made. You know what I mean? Yeah. Normally my shit runs 8-10 hours tops. You know what I'm saying?
I'll be having them Costco briskets, them 13, 14 pounders sometimes. I'm like, bro, that shit taking like 13, 14 hours. Like, I feel like per pound, it takes like an hour.
It just depends, bro. It really just depends.
That motherfucker stall. I had one stall out before. I'm like, oh, this shit take that 220, whatever it was, 165 is the stall or 150 somewhere around there. Oh my God,
it's crazy. And that's the thing, because I was thinking in my head, I was like, my first time doing an overnight cook, right? So it was like 2-3 in the morning. I'm like, man, I might as well just stay awake because I gotta wrap this shit. It was at like 2:50. It was like 2 in the morning, and I'm like, man, let me just set an alarm. And I set my alarm for like, for when the temperature gets there.
Yeah.
That motherfucker didn't go off until like 7:30 in the morning. I was like, man, I could have just, you know what I'm saying? I could have went to sleep. That stall was like a 5-hour stall, man. But yeah, man, I went through a few grills, but what type of grill you got?
I got the Traeger, bro. I'm basic. You know what I'm saying? I got this little Traeger, the electric one. It worked though. I put that thing to work, dog. And I smoked a bunch of stuff on there. I done brisket, obviously the ribs. The ribs is a go-to on there. I just smoked some fish on there, and then I did the turkey, Thanksgiving turkey on our spatchcock. That thing, cut the backbone out. That was probably the best turkey I ever made. I got the most compliments. I don't like turkey. I'm not a big turkey guy because it's always too fucking dry. But that motherfucker was hidden, bro. So I've been, I ain't the barbecuist that you are, you know what I'm saying? I ain't on my game like that, but I know how to cook a little bit, bro.
Yeah, I feel you, man. It's crazy because in my family we're always competing. My brother-in-law did a spatchcock turkey too. I've never done a spatchcock turkey. That's something that I want to do.
It's life-changing, bro. It's life-changing because instead of throwing that motherfucker in the oven for like 12, 13 hours, you throw it in the smoker for like 5-6 hours and it cooked evenly. Like you're not like you don't have to leave it in there so that everything's cooked all the way. It's like you can probe that shit right in the middle. When the breast is done, everything else is pretty much done. You throw some butter under the skin. Like it's just way easier, bro. You got to next year.
I gotta try that motherfucker, man. But we're gonna talk a lot about barbecue on this channel too, man. I know motherfuckers our age, we're where we need to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But in this age group, you know what I'm saying? A lot of motherfuckers like us lean into that smoking meats, lean into barbecuing a lot more. So I want to touch on that a lot. You know what I'm saying? Talk about mistakes that we make. Talk about what type of grills we got, what type of grills we got experience, what rubs, just making our own shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yara, that Niners talk, baby. Yo, myself, for Bob Palmer, Justin Henry, we out. You know what I'm saying? Send it to show. See you on the next one.
Hey, man.